By the way, I wasn't as outraged as a lot of people were about the result of Inter Miami losing 4-0. And I didn't think it deserved any think pieces by MLS fans or soccer fans in general about, the state of the MLS. I mean, the game ended how it was supposed to end. The best team in the world outclassed an MLS team. Yeah, pretty much what everybody should have been expecting.
Understood. But I don't consider it to be a typical MLS team because they have Leo Messi. So I thought, in a situation of, LeBron added to whatever, EuroLeague team is not even a good example anymore. But I just expected something other than being completely and utterly destroyed by PSG. But I showed you a text that I had to Whittingham during the game because I had never watched PSG before. I'm like, are they playing with 18 guys out there? Like, I couldn't believe Inter Miami couldn't breathe. When Inter Miami touched the ball, they couldn't breathe. And it looked like, I mean, it really looked like professionals versus Pee-wee for some of the game out there. Like, it was remarkable how fast PSG was versus what Inter Miami was doing out there.
I saw y'all's text thread and just thinking about kind of what Solano was telling us, like, these are the world's best soccer players ever that's been doing this for hundreds of years in their country. And we threw together a little league over here thinking we're going to catch up with them in 8 years. It seemed unfathomable.
Well, it's interesting because do you say, hey, the fact that Inter Miami actually made it out of the first group, is that kind of significant where you say, look, they're not as bad as people say? Or, and by the way, they didn't have to end up playing PSG. It's because they gave up those rotten 2 goals in the last 20 minutes. Who was that against?
Palmeiras.
They were up 2-0, 20 minutes left. Had they won that game instead of drew, they wouldn't have played PSG, and it wouldn't have been as embarrassing, I think, for MLS as a whole, what happened.
For sure. They would have had a much better path, by the way, to get through, but they would have played Botafogo in the first round here in the knockout stages. I don't know if they beat Botafogo, who's the champions of Brazil last year, but they definitely have a better chance to beat them than the champions of the Champions League. I mean, PSG, we talked about it on Friday, man. Like, PSG genuinely plays with an unbelievable pace. All of their players are young and insanely fast and athletic.
The
Every
pace
single
was
one.
Remarkable. Crowder, I'm telling you, it would, because again, I don't know anything about soccer. It was so evident. I mean, it was remarkable what I was watching out there. I couldn't believe it. I felt claustrophobic, and I didn't have the ball. I can't even imagine how those Inter Miami players felt.
And Inter Miami plays at a tremendously slow pace because, they're all 155 years old. So they can't play. And Hawk, no joke, I saw people ripping Mascherano, the manager of Inter Miami, the style that they played with, and why would they just defend? And if Inter Miami would have came out and they would have tried to play an attack-minded game and try to get Messi in space early, they would have allowed, I'm not kidding, 10 to 15 goals on them. Yep. PSG just showed you how much respect they have for Leo Messi in the second half by kind of just touching and playing a possession game. They could have scored 8-9 goals on Inter Miami in the second half if they wanted. They really wanted to. Yeah. It's a different Hawk and Crowder. It doesn't take 5-10 years and then a ton of money to boost up an MLS league and one team to go compete against the giants of Europe. Like, it's not that simple. I saw people saying that maybe now the MLS will open up the cap, and sure, open up the cap. But you're talking about decades and decades and decades of putting money into infrastructure in Europe to literally build up young players through youth academies, a culture of building players. you're gonna in 10 years, and Leo Messi is gonna change that, and you're gonna go beat a team like this. Like it's insane what people were trying to do here by turning this game into something bigger than what it was. Inter Miami getting out of the group was the big win here. Period. End of story.
I watched something about that, like the soccer academies and the baseball academies, and in the Hispanic country like DR and all them. And it's like, we play around where, okay, have something to fall back on. Let's go to college, get that degree, and maybe you'll make it to the league one day. Them boys go and play soccer and baseball all day long, go to sleep watching baseball, wake up playing baseball and soccer. Like they've been doing, like you're saying, Solana, for decades. I think it was a 30 for 30 or something I watched the other day.
Still wasn't nothing.
Go to school, kids. Don't listen to what I say. Go to school, get your education.